Hello everyone, I'm Kit Carson sitting right here in front of Angelina's Pizza, and as you know, I meet and I talk to the most interesting people in the world. And tonight I am honored to have two of my favorites here with me. That's right. If you would, look at the camera and tell everybody your name and where you're from.
Everybody wants to sit with Kit. Yeah.
Start with you. What's your name?
My name is Chris.
Yes.
And I originally come from Paris in France.
In France?
My name is Rick Chandler and I originally come from Nottingham in England, where Robin Hood comes from. We steal from the rich and we keep it.
And we keep it. You don't give it to anybody, do you?
No.
Very good.
But
Very good.
We call the keys home.
You what?
We call the keys home.
You call the keys home?
Since 9 years. We're locals now.
Yeah,
yes.
I met you guys, what, about 9-10 years ago? No, longer than that.
9 years ago.
9 years ago.
Was it 9 years ago?
Yes.
I can't remember.
That's how we met you when we were playing next door at Rick's.
Yeah, that's right.
We used to sneak by at 10 o'clock in the morning and buy pizza from you and coffee.
Yep,
and
that's
we'd be
right.
like two zombies ready to do the midday set.
We all were zombies at
Ghost Tour.
10 in the morning.
Ghost Tour, it's us on stage on
Yes,
Sunday morning.
that was what it was. So let's digress a little bit. Where did you two guys meet?
We met in Glasgow, in Scotland.
In Scotland.
In Scotland, yeah.
Okay.
Chris tried to hire me as a drummer because her drummer had a funny wrist, and she called me up, but my price was way above what they could afford.
It was my budget to pay the musician and the food for a week on tour, so I couldn't.
Not because I'm greedy or anything. I was just working with somebody who was well known, and I couldn't cancel that to go and do a lesser gig.
Calvin Harris,
Yeah.
the DJ Calvin Harris. So I couldn't compete with a number one in the world, you know.
The number one world. So what were you doing at the time, Chris? You were...
I was touring with my own music.
With your own music?
In England and in Scotland. I was touring constantly. I always sing. I'm always on stage.
How long have you been playing? And
Playing 16 years.
16 years?
Together?
And together you've been together 16 years?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The day we've met, we've never been apart.
Right.
Since the first day.
Well, Chris was actually touring the band Lung before me. She that was her band.
That was your band?
That was, yep. And then I went to Paris. I said, look, I can't do the gig, but I'll help you out I'll come and record the drums for you for the album. And that's where we did the album, and I ended up with a wife instead.
Wow.
Which is
Years later.
quite the package, you know.
Wow. Went platinum, did you?
Thank you.
We went multi-platinum together.
Hopefully diamond at some point.
Right? A pretty diamond. So what were you doing prior to meeting Chris?
I was a session musician in England. And I was working with people like Calvin Harris, Gary Newman, Tricky, and Modern English, who you know.
Modern English, yeah.
Who I still tour with a little bit now and again,
Right.
as their live drummer.
Right.
In fact, Mick played bass on the In the Key of West song.
Oh, really?
Conroy, the
Mick
bass
from
player.
Modern English, he played bass
okay.
on it.
Wow.
Kindly played bass.
So what we're talking about is you guys are putting out a new video, and the song is called "In the Key of West."
Absolutely.
Correct.
And you had the bass player, or the bass was being played by one of your mates
Yes.
from Modern English.
We've been very blessed because we've got as well an incredibly talented guy who mixed the song for free because it's a charity for underprivileged children. Chris Lord-Alge is a multi-Grammy Award winner, sound engineer.
Wow.
And he's just fantastic. And
He mixed Bruce Springsteen's biggest hit, Born in the USA.
Oh, really?
And he mixed James Brown and Madonna.
Wow.
And
So basically, I contacted him because I was doing like a mixing course
Right.
that he runs, and I just asked him, look, we've got this charity song and we want it mixing, and you're a far better mixer than me.
it's a song about the Florida Keys, and his brother
Yeah.
lives in Miami and is constantly and consistently in the Keys. So he said,
Yeah, we just asked him, and he said, let's get it on. And the next day,
Wow.
in
Let's
2
get the
days,
ball rolling.
in 2 days, he did all the different mixes, sent it to us, and it sounds incredible.
That's just crazy.
I mean, if you hear the original, I mean, we recorded it in a church in Miami that we go to, and it sounds okay, but it sounds very demo-y. But what he did to it was, you know, it's incredible.
he took it to another level.
I've only heard a little bit of it, and it's a very catchy song, and it's very good.
Thank you, Kit.
Produced it. Production is really good
Thank
from
you
top
very
to
much.
bottom. Vocals, music, everything about it is fantastic. So the
you.
video is going to be out when? Tomorrow?
Saturday, Thursday, 28th of February, on his birthday.
So next week, a week from today.
Yes,
A
yes.
week from today, the new video will come out.
Yep. And in
Wow.
fact, you're the first person that's seen the final. We just
Wow,
watched 10
that-
minutes of it, 2 minutes of it.
That-
You're the first person that saw the bit of it.
It's fantastic.
We just received it from the post-production because I directed it, and we did the preparation of this video all on our own with only one friend who came from Paris for the occasion. He's an amazing photographer and director of photography.
Wow.
So we did that, just the three of us, over 3 weeks, up and down the keys, because the song and the music video, it's about a journey from the Stretch to Key West.
Yeah.
With all like the greatest, I think, landmarks of the Keys that you don't want to miss.
I think you'll absolutely know where you are if you watch the video.
Oh,
what
great.
was your first impression of it as a Keys person who lived here all your life and seeing that externally?
Okay, my
in
first
terms of-
impression is it was, well, the song, first off, is very catchy.
Yes.
You know, it's very up, very refreshing. You sound great. The music's great. And so you automatically start off on a good beat. And then you start watching the video, and it's just really fast paced, and it's very light and very fun. And just, you know, it's hard to describe the beauty of the Keys
Yes, in
to
words.
people that,
You have to come.
you know, you have to see it.
Yes.
And when you watch that video, and if you've never been, you'll know what we're talking about. But until you come here, you won't really know.
Yes.
When you come here and you get on one of those little boats and you're going through the mangroves, you'll go, "Oh my God, this
Wow.
is beautiful."
Yes,
You know. But
yes.
the video is fantastic. It's super exciting.
Thank you.
I'm
Actually,
excited for you guys. It's great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have, you know, as every time we release a project, we have no idea of where it's going to take us. It's
Right.
always, you know, a new adventure. So, but what we want to make sure about this song we wanted to kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
First of all, it was to give a big thank you and shout out to the fabulous community here of the Florida Keys, because since we arrived here in the Keys, you all have been so loving, kind, supporting, generous with us, and you gave us so many gigs and performances all the time. We are so grateful for the love
Right.
we receive here all the time. And the other point was to raise money through our own children's charity called Little Angels, and to help underprivileged children with all the proceeds generated by this song, merchandising, downloads,
And it's all
all
going
that.
to a charity.
Yes, and we're gonna start by helping
And what is it-
underprivileged children here in the Florida
We're going to
Keys.
start locally.
Okay.
You always have to start locally. Like,
Right. Okay.
But we hope to expand, obviously. That's the
Yes.
point.
I gotcha. Okay. Wow, that's very
That's
industrious.
New. That's new for us as well.
Yes, it's a
Right.
new thing for us, and yeah, it's exciting. You know, it's not. I think it's nice to do something, give something back, because we both come from really humble beginnings. Like me, I was brought up with a single mum who was just a waitress.
Yeah.
and she was great. She gave us a great life, but it was
Still a
tough.
struggle.
It was really tough. Yeah, if
Sure.
anything out with the normal life that you wanted, you had to go and earn it. Like I had a morning paper round, a night paper round, a weekend paper round, and a Saturday job.
Yeah.
When I was 12 years old, just
Sure.
to kind of buy my first drum kit, you know.
Was that your
and
first
so-
instrument? Drums?
Yes, yes.
Wow, your
He
mom
plays
must have
guitar.
loved you.
He plays
Your neighbors
guitar
must
now.
have loved
She
you.
was very patient, and
The upstairs people loved you.
I think one of the neighbours moved to Australia, to give you an idea of how loud it was.
He's
Because,
not that loud of a drummer.
His mom is a little bit deaf now, so it's always the joke in the family. It's because of him drumming
Yeah.
when he was a kid.
How many brothers and sisters?
I've got a sister, and I had a half sister, but she passed away. But I've got a sister who's a singer as well.
Right.
She sings in all the kind of working men's clubs in England, like the Elks Club. You know, like these clubs we've got here in the States.
So,
so her name is Sharon.
You guys met in Scotland?
Yes.
Yes.
And that was how long ago?
More than 16 years ago now.
And so,
But we fell in love in Paris.
and you're from France.
Yes, originally, but with Spanish and Italian origins.
So how did you guys get to here? What brought you to Key West 10 years ago?
Italy, it was a happy accident.
Yeah, I was playing at the.
Because I'm kind of trying to remember. I remember you had some struggles about something, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, immigration.
Immigration.
Yes,
That's what I.
yeah.
It lasted for 9 years.
Yeah.
We're citizens now.
Oh, you
Legally, yeah! But it took us 9 years.
Wow.
And
okay.
a lot of suffering.
So how
yes.
did you get here?
We came to visit Miami, where we had never been before.
Okay.
I was playing at the Hard Rock Cafe, wasn't I?
Yes.
In Orlando with Modern English.
Okay.
And Chris was in California. She came to join me for a break, basically,
Okay.
for a holiday.
And we have a friend. We still have a friend. We have a friend in Miami. She's a restaurant business owner, and she said, "Come on, stay with me." But we didn't really like the atmosphere on South Beach because that's where she lives, and so we just Googled the map of South Florida because we wanted to go somewhere different. And I saw this little comma on the map.
Wow.
And I zoomed into it on Google Map, and I saw the name Key Largo at first.
Right.
And I'm a big movie fan. So I said to Rick, wow, Key Largo, the movie with Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
And I said, we've got to go to see that. So we booked a hotel in Marathon. So we thought we can navigate freely, you know, between all the keys. And when we arrived in Key West for the first time, we really fell in love instantly with the keys. We are like, wow, we need to be here. And at the time, the plan was, after this week of break, was to go back to Austin, where we were supposed to do like a winter season to give it a shot. No, that's not what we did. At the time, we were living in a motorhome, in an RV. So we flew back to Austin the next day, and we drove back immediately with the RV the same day, actually. And we were back in the Keys 2 days later, and we never left since.
Do you guys feel like your last 16 years of your life has been on the road?
Pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, do you guys have any place that you really, I mean, you call the Keys home, but I know you'll play Key Largo tonight or at night, and the next morning you'll play Key West.
Yeah.
And then that afternoon you'll play Marathon.
Yeah.
And you'll do it all over again.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you guys will drive 120 miles to play 3 gigs in the Keys.
You don't want to know how many miles our car has. It's scary.
You know the year that we paid for our immigration, which was a lot of money. We did 297 gigs in 10 months.
297 gigs
In 10 months.
We had sorry.
And a lot of those was 2 a day.
Yeah, they had to be in 10 months.
We were like doing doubles, like a double in. We were playing here at Rick's Sunday lunch.
Right.
Sunday night would be in Isla Morada, and the same Friday, Saturday.
Well, that's what.
And
That's
the
what's
next
always.
morning back in Key West to play at the time at the
I know-
Rumba Roll and the Hogfish. So
Right.
we were like we were barely sleeping, you know. We were sleeping 5 hours back in the car.
You were definitely sleeping in your car and traveling up and down the Keys.
Yes.
For months when I first met you.
Yes.
I mean, I know a lot of musicians that'll play the Bull for lunch and then they'll play Sunset Pier for sunset. You know, but you guys, like I say, you'll play Isla Morada and then you'll play Key West in the same day, which is just phenomenal.
I mean, for me as a singer, I can tell you, it was really the experiment for me as a vocalist. There was some days I was like every weekend when I was waking up after 5 hours sleep, you know, to rest the voice you need to sleep a lot, and I couldn't do that. So I was really freaking out, and usually I have a low voice, kind of a low voice. But at this time, it was even lower than ever, my voice, when I was
sleeping with a man sometimes. So he'd turn over and go, morning.
He was saying, good morning, Barry White. He was telling me.
And Kit was always very nice with us, I want to say, because you always turned up when we looked like zombies on a Sunday morning. You would arrive with some really strong coffees and some of your beautiful pizza man. And
He was
honestly,
helping a
he
lot.
was so nice. He was so kind. That's how we
Those
became
were some
friends.
good.
You were easing our morning, our Sunday morning, but I was like, I have been singing at the time. It was like nearly 8 hours a day.
Right. Well,
But
it's amazing at what we can do sometimes.
have to.
Yeah, when you have to.
when you,
Yes.
you need to. We don't do that anymore.
And obviously, part of that story, what you were asking, you said when we had a problem, what
Yeah.
happened was basically we did all our immigration legally,
Right.
completely legally,
Right.
because we've got the same problems in our country.
Sure.
But legal immigration destroys every country.
It does.
So as soon as we arrived here, we said, look, we're going to pay our taxes straight away.
Yeah.
And we're going to do everything legally. But we fell foul to some idiot at the immigration who cancelled our visa for a wrong reason, and we got stuck in Europe for like 4 years, not allowed to come home, basically.
Yeah.
So we were homeless in our own country,
Right.
which was really weird.
Everything was weird even over there because when our attorneys sent us an email to say, great, finally your permanent residency has been granted. Hello, darling. Has been granted. We were like, wow, yes. And I remember this day we were in the Alps in France and we were visiting some friends and we were having a rum, with them, sharing a little rum after lunch. And suddenly we turned on the news on the French TV and it was announced that the world was shutting down because of COVID. So the same day we had okay, good to go home.
Good to go home,
with
but
our
you
green
can't
card,
now.
But you can't now. And the wait lasted 2 more years. It was awful.
That was challenging, but
Yes.
it's
We sobered up very quickly. I can tell you that.
that's part of the journey,
Yeah,
and, that
well-
and that shows the strength that how much we love America and how much we wanted to come back here to the Keys, because when you suffer like that.
Resilient isn't
you
quite the right word for you too.
We've got some people we meet after the gigs sometimes, or before gigs, or on our journey, and they ask us always the same question: is it true that in Europe they don't like Americans? Which is absolutely not true.
Is it true? What?
If that the Europeans don't like Americans.
Oh.
What a legend. I was like, we've never seen that in Europe. I prefer to precise it. And so we were like, when people ask us that, now we can tell them, we say, look, if you had been through what we've been through during this immigration process, you will not even have to ask the question, because
Right.
you really need to love the people and
Yeah.
America to be here.
Yeah, you're right. To do it legally.
Yes.
And that's all every country should do. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the world that we feel that we should
But you know what?
pour out people and displace other people. I don't get it, but whatever.
Amen.
Yeah.
And then what's wonderful is we would actually encourage anyone to do it legally.
Sure.
And,
Absolutely.
And some people, they are kind of surprised when we say that, because yes, you're rock musicians, blah blah blah, you're free spirits and all that, but we think it goes together, because what we've been learning during this immigration journey about the country, the culture, the people, about everything, you cannot buy that. And I think if you don't do it legally, you will never get to know all that.
Yeah, I have a strong agreement with that. I mean, I welcome everybody. Just do it the right way.
Yes.
It's just, and it shouldn't be that difficult.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's the other side.
And it feels good, Kit. It feels super good. I mean, when after COVID everything finally reopened and we were allowed to come back, we didn't make it purposely. It's just we took the cheapest flight because we were completely broke. And it just happened that the cheapest flight was making us landing in Miami on the 1st of January. It was in 2021, 1st of January 22, sorry.
Yeah.
And when we landed and we gave the green card in the hand of the immigration officer at the border police, you have no idea the feeling of joy and happiness and pride.
It was
That you
taking
have,
pictures in
ah.
front of like the American flag, so we were really proud, you know.
Yes.
It's like, we're super proud to be part of the American family now. It's
We're
wonderful.
so
Oh,
happy.
that's wonderful.
We are so happy
I mean,
to be here.
in Europe, we dreamed of that as kids, you know, like
Yeah.
the American dream and
Yeah.
Superman and all that stuff. It used to trip me
Well,
out.
we just
you know.
got to keep it alive, and I'm not saying export it to the whole world, but there's some tenets of our culture that should be everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think
We all are created equal, and we all should have equal rights, and everybody should have a voice, and
Yes.
I mean, you should have the freedom to choose. I mean, I could go on and on. Actually, I couldn't. There's just a few tenets that I believe in, and that's it.
we believe with the experience we have started to build here so far that America is such a vast country
Oh my
on
goodness.
so many levels that
Oh, yes.
I think this vastness, I hope I can say that
Yeah.
in English, this vastness is embedded, it seemed to me, in the DNA of American people because they think big. Here we think big.
A lot of people do.
And if you do not have the experience to live here and experience it firsthand, you can't understand that. Even if you just come on a holiday, you may have a feel of maybe the sense
Right.
of celebration of American people, their generosity, their kindness, and all that, but you'll never get to feel this vastness of
It's
spirit.
hard when you're a tourist to any country to capture the whole spirit.
Because you
Yes.
just eat and drink.
Right, you just eat and drink and sleep in a hotel.
Yes.
And it's certainly a vast country when you've got an RV that does 50 miles an hour and you've got
Right.
to drive across it. Then you realise how big it is.
Yeah.
It's
So-
enormous. Yeah.
Where all have you guys been in this country?
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been fortunate enough, Kit, to do every single state in America,
Have you?
apart from Alaska and Hawaii. But I've done every single state, and what a beautiful country.
Lucky Burger, and
I've
I
only
want.
got you beat by one. I've been to Hawaii, but I've never been to Alaska yet.
I wanted
Me
to,
neither.
I wanted
It's a dream to go there.
to take the occasion just in case our friend Hobie, from Hobie in the Afternoon Experiment,
Yes.
radio
we
show.
all know Hobie.
Hello Hobie.
Hi, Hobie.
He knows he is a tosser. He will know why I say that. He's a tosser, isn't he?
He was going to be a
Hobie.
tosser and a wanker on his show. Good on you, mate.
So that's why he had all this time to visit all the states. I did maybe 26 so far, which is
26
a lot.
days?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, so like, I'm not the average tourist. When I go to places, I like to go off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And then I go and I'll stay in one spot for a while just to try to get the feel for that place. I'm not going to bounce all over the country. I'll go to like one or two places and just try to really experience that spot. And
we do like you.
we went to Australia for a month, my wife and I, and I really wanted to go into the bush,
The
area.
outback.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're, near Cairns, up on the table, and out into the bush, place called Mount Surprise, and we're there for like 4 or 5 days, and it's a town of 16 people.
Wow.
I mean, it's nothing there. But there's a campground that has like another 50 people there. So this campground makes the town 3 times the size. Well, I noticed a poster for a rodeo about 90 kilometers away. So I told my wife, I go, that's what we're doing tomorrow night. We're going to this rodeo. So we go to this rodeo in this little tiny town, and the headlight
I
of the
thought
whole...
you were going to tell us you did the actual rodeo.
No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. But the whole point is that we're sitting there and watching it, and of course, I say one word to my wife, and everybody starts looking around. They're like, "Where the hell are you bloody from? Where are you from?"
You're
I'm
not
like,
from here, mate.
I'm like, we're from America, and they just like, "Oh my, no Americans ever come here. And what are you doing here?" And I go, "I came to the rodeo. You have the second place." Australia Got Talent, second place person is performing tonight, and I want to watch her perform. And they were like, "Oh my God, you're unlike any tourist we've ever."